Today's going to be a pretty straightforward and simple tutorial, and we're going to be talking about the Fakeout Forever sustain. I don't know if it actually has a name. It's just a very elongated sustain that evolves over time. It's made for that epic live drop moment where you expect it all to come in and then you hear that bass, but it just keeps going and rings out, and it can either go straight into a drop or into a build and into another drop. And this is what it sounds like. So let me show you the simplicity of this. To break it down at a very simple level, all you're going to need is some sort of sustain that you have control with. I guess you could do this in audio, but it's a lot more difficult. This is just my sustain Deca from my Roid Raid pack, which, you know, it's linked down below. You can get it for 20% off using YouTube 20 if you want. But it sounds like this on its own, well, with post-processing as well. Right, so that's what it sounds like. And the biggest thing here is you need LFO1 to be your traditional sustain ramp, and it needs to be enveloped. So once it cycles through the LFO, it's going to hit this point and it's going to stay at 100. Like, that's the biggest thing. And we just play as long as the note as you want. This is 7 bars of a note, and that's pretty much all you need out of the patch itself. You need to, if you want to add a little more evolving over time, you can do that like vibrato or something, but I did this all third-party post-processing. So what I did is I just froze that down like this, and I resampled it to this. This is what it is. We have a VR fat rack, we have this just cutting out a very sharp syllabus, and this is just a no sub shifter rack, which just shifts the highs. This allows the sub to stay intact since the sub of this patch is the main component. I'm not using a third-party one, so you can see here. So if we showed it here, you'll see the actual tones change up top and the sub staying. Now that's going to create the overall pitch up, that boom. You could do that with a filter if you wanted, but I want full energy, and then it pitches up, continues pitch up. So there's a few more things at play here. We have we'll call it, I don't know, this is just another shifter rack, honestly, the same exact thing, but I made it instead of just duplicating it. And the whole point of this is to actually have a high end where you're turning up the fine slowly and you're messing with your dry wet. This is the biggest part. So we have just a little ramp right here and then the dry wet. What happens when you turn up your fine tune a little bit and mess with your dry wet is it creates this phasey effect. Without this, pulsing is just my sidechain, and with it, it adds that phaser effect. The further you go with it, the faster it gets. For example, if I go to like 10 here, it's going to change the rate. We could even probably go a little bit less, and then just hear this in context now. Sounds the same, but it's going to kind of do that phasey thing a little bit slower. So after that, I just have an EQ that is doing absolutely nothing. And then I have my washout, which is just taking out the low end. If we pull in another EQ here, you can just see that we're pulling out the low end because the kick is coming in. I'm trying to pull out a little bit of space so the drop feels a little bit more wide when it hits, because this is like a full saturated hit here. So this has the same energy as here. So you'll see the low end. And that's literally it, this whole part, besides literally effects. And then my drums. All together. that's really it. That's really all there is to it. It's super simple. Just find a good sound. You can even layer multiple sustains together, and then once you have them where you're at, you can print them all to audio to this. But like I said in the beginning, you just need something where you can control the envelope and make it as long as you want. I hope that video was helpful to you guys, and I'll see you in the next video. Peace.